Hello and a warm welcome along to today's United Kingdom talk. And yes, indeed, I did the other day go and watch the film Scrooge. If you were listening to the last show, well, I say the film Scrooge. What's it called? Oh, I forgot the title now. A Christmas Story. Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. And do you read classic books like that? I've got to be honest, I don't think I've ever read a classic book. I find reading whole books a little bit, dare I say, boring. Is that all right to say boring about a book? I don't know. Yeah, I just find it a little bit long and winded reading a book. I can read short stories. You know, stories that, you know, you've kind of over and done with in 20 minutes, half an hour. Quite like short stories. But I do have trouble reading long books. It's my attention span. Oh, there's a fly in here. Did that just fly past then? I have a very, very short attention span, I think, really, to be honest. One of my friends, Mark, who lives down in Brighton, says that I can't kind of be with someone for more than a couple of hours at a time. I kind of lose interest very quickly. Where is that person? That's the question, isn't it? Where is that person that's going to keep me interested for more than 2 hours? Eh? Well, the film last night, that was about, I don't know how long it was, probably about 2 hours long. I really enjoyed that. A Christmas Carol. Now, it's had mixed reviews starring Jim Carrey, although you wouldn't know it was him, to be honest. Absolutely, you wouldn't know it was him. I kind of watching this film, I think, oh, I thought, you know, Scrooge would be played by Jim Carrey, which I think it is. Well, I say I think it is because you just can't tell. The makeup is so good, I didn't know that it was him. Very, very good film. Really enjoyed it. Very similar, of course, to the original story. A Christmas... I've forgotten it again. A Christmas Tale? A Christmas Carol, that's it. A Christmas Carol. Oh, you know the story, don't you? That's the one where this old man holds on to all his money and won't spend anything. Now, I went with my friend Ron, who does say that I remind him of Scrooge, which is a dreadful, terrible, terrible thing to say. I mean, I don't work Christmas Day, do I? Counting my money all the time. I don't do any of that. No, I don't. I know you think I do, but I don't. I am not Scrooge. Great film. The entire film was in 3D, and I thought the effects worked really well. Disney's done a good job of that. But well, it's not a cartoon, is it? It's, I don't know what you call it, actually. Maybe you do. It's pictures, it's kind of like real people, but it's not real people. They're like, I don't know what you call them. What do you call it? It's not cartoons, okay? It would be like, say, I'm sitting here, but if you look closely, it's not really me. I'm a model of myself talking, like the animation robots in It's a Small World. No, not It's a Small. I don't know what I'm talking about, do I? I don't know where. Well, anyway, back to the film. They're not real people in the film. On the other hand, they're not cartoons. They are very, very close to real people. I don't know what that's called. But Disney really got the film quite right there. I think it's very well made. And I have to say, the whole thing's in 3D. And for me, the best part of the film is when you're flying over houses and things like that. And it really does work quite well. There were a couple of times where I suddenly turned away, sort of pulled back because I thought something was coming out of the screen, and it never does. And it's got like snow falling down in front of you, and it's almost as if you could touch it. Very, very clever. Very, very clever. We went to the... So do go and see that. It's had mixed reviews, I think, in the newspapers and what have you. I really enjoyed it. For little children, I think there might be a couple of scary bits in it. Okay? Ghosts and things like that. So just be warned if you're taking little children to see that. I don't even know what the certificate is, actually. We went, once again, to the Greenwich IMAX cinema. The film wasn't in IMAX. In the premiere seats, I went with my mate Ron. and he paid for the seat tickets. I paid for the sweets and the hot dog. And get this. Now, you know what I'm like, buying food in a cinema. I don't usually do it, but he wanted some sweets, and as he bought the tickets, I thought, well, I better pay for something. And we got 2 bags of sweets. You know, the pick and mix? 2 bags of sweets, and they weren't huge bags. I mean, seriously, they were not huge bags. I got those and 1 hot dog, because he won't eat hot dogs. Oh, no, he only eats chicken and tuna. Oh, don't ask me why. He starts going on about red meat being bad for you and all this business. But he's quite happy to sit there with a bag of sweets. And there was like you know, those banana-shaped things. There was fudge. There was chocolate raisins. There was chocolate chews. All sorts of things like this. Pick and mix in a bag, 2 bags, and a hot dog. And I went to the checkout with £5, and I thought, well, I'll get another couple of coins out. So I had about £7. It come to 11 quid, dear. £11 for a hot dog and 2 bags of sweets. Yeah, I know that you don't have to buy it. I know that. Oh, well, so then we went upstairs to the premier seating area, which is like, I suppose it's like a reception, really, where you sit down and wait to be called in for the film. It was always fantastic, dear. Lovely. And there were 2 people up there who came over straight away and started talking to two members of staff, and we were the only 2 up there. I said, oh, are we the only 2 here tonight? She said, yeah, it's a very quiet night. No one else has pre-booked the premiere seat, so it's just you 2. So it was 2 staff and both of us, and these 2 staff just started talking to us, and they went on, and I thought these 2 must be really bored. They were going on and on and on, and the young lad seemed to be particularly chatty to both of us, going on about films and this, that and the other. Came across as a bit of an anorak. You know, that's not a bad thing. Being an anorak is not a bad thing unless your name's Carl and you're in Yorkshire. Then that's a bad thing, okay? But being an anorak, you're well into whatever it was, and he was well into films, and he was chatting away about it all. And he says, well, the only way, he said, the premier seats are quite expensive, and they are more expensive than the other seats. He said, the only way you get your value for money is to really come and take loads of sweets and drinks, because all the sweets and the drinks up there are included. Now, why? I got to thinking, I didn't say anything to him at the time, why, oh, why? Ron wanted 2 bags of, or wanted a bag of the pick and mix sweets. When there were sweets upstairs, I shall never know. Then, do you know what he did then? Then he proceeded, when the 2 staff walked away, he then proceeded to get loads of the free sweets and start putting them in the bag with the ones we just paid for, dear. I mean, what's the point of that? Huh? And then we had those, oh, not Doritos. What are they called? You know those crisp things, Nanchos or whatever they are, with lovely cheese sauce. Oh, that's delicious, that is. Absolutely delicious. I forgot to tell you, I did actually go to meet him in the afternoon where he works. And I picked up the keys for his flat and I sat around his flat. But before we went there, I also bought him a lunch. I mean, the expense just goes on and on, doesn't it? Once again, Chris Reardon picks up the bill. Eh? Well, at least I didn't have to pay for the cinema tickets. And then after that, so we went into the cinema, they gave us the 2 glasses. And in the whole of the premier seat section, and there's quite a few rows of seats up there, right at the back, because it's a huge cinema, the IMAX in Greenwich, a massive place, absolutely massive place. We were the only 2 people sitting in the whole of the premier seat section. So we kind of went to our numbered seats. And this boy showed us down with the torch. And I said to him, oh, I said, can we sit over there? Is there's no one here? Oh, well, I'll come and get you. You're supposed to sit in your numbered seats. And I'm looking at him, well, there's no one else here. You know, why do we have to sit in the numbered seats when there wasn't a soul in there, not a soul in that back area. And even in front of us, I don't think I counted more than about 15 people in there, in this huge cinema that night. So he said, oh, well, I'll come and let you know, just in case someone comes in late. Oh, OK, then. So we're sitting there, right, and the adverts ran, and we're sitting there with our Nanchos, dipping away in the cheese sauce and nibbling away. And the film started, and 2 minutes into the film, he didn't come back and tell us. So, come on, Ron, let's move. So we moved right over to the middle. Oh, we had a fantastic seat. Really good seat. You could see, the whole of the screen, and there weren't anyone in front. And the seats in the premiere section, they're kind of doubled up, but they've got like an armrest separating the two seats, and you can remove the armrest, and it's like sitting in the settee I'm sitting in now. It's so comfortable in those premiere seats. Really is worth, I think, the extra money, and I think they're leather. Oh, so comfortable. I got my feet up. I mean, I took my shoes off. Don't get me wrong. Okay, don't get me wrong. I took the bit in the middle because he had 2 seats to himself, and I had 2 seats to myself, and I kind of put my feet up and and kind of relaxed like that. Terrible, and that very naughty. So the film started, and as I say, very, very impressed. Highly recommend that film. Okay, go and see it. A Christmas Carol with Jim Carrey. You won't recognise him. The makeup is so good, and the ghosts and the flying and everything like that. Little Bob Cratchit. And little Timmy. Oh, that's sad. Oh, it brought a tear to my eye there when it was the ghost of Christmas Present, and Scrooge was asking about Timmy. He says he does live, doesn't he? And the bloke says, no, he'll die. The ghost says, no, he'll die. Oh, it's all very, very sad. Go and see it. Maybe you've seen it already. Please let me know what you thought. The email address, if you want to join in the show, and the email's all working again now. Sorry it went wrong again last week. Don't ask me what happens. Right, because I don't change anything. And suddenly you get this email. I think it was Brenda who emailed us. And she said, do you know your email's not working? That's quite often how I find out things have gone wrong, because it's just not possible. There's so many things to check when you're doing a show. And it's just impossible to check everything. So quite often, if something's gone wrong, I find out because you've told me, you know? So do let us know. What films have you seen? Do you recommend any films recently that you've seen? I also want to go and see 2012. And I do believe that starts, or has started now. So I want to see that one as well. And another one beginning with A. Axon or something like that. Aviv. Oh, what's it called now? I saw that one advertised. So there's a couple of films I want to see between now and Christmas, which isn't too far away at all now, is it? About 6 weeks or so to Christmas. I'm looking forward to that, of course. I spend a few days up north in Lincolnshire with my sister. What films do you recommend? Have you seen A Christmas Carol? Did you like it or not? Then do let me know. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. I don't know if anyone remembers the black and white version of Christmas Carol with Alistair Sim. Do you remember that one? Eh? That was good as well. Did you see that one? What did you think of that? Years and years ago. It's ever so old. I have a feeling that's even older than me, if it's possible. Okay, Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Okie doke. What else am I watching? Oh yes, Facebook. Now I am on Facebook. If you want to join me on Facebook, or indeed Twitter. I hardly ever use Twitter. I just don't get it. Never have been able to get it. Okay. However, I do put my updates on there. If you ever want to join us on Facebook or Twitter, my Facebook and Twitter names are both the same. Chris Reardon UK. All right, Chris Reardon UK. And I've been noticing there's a couple of viruses going around on the Facebook, so do be careful with those. It usually starts with something like, I've found a very funny video of you. Click here to see it. And then you click on it, and then virus. So do be careful of those. All right? If you get something from someone, say, I've found a very strange video of you, click here, or a picture or something like that. Do be very, very careful. All right? But also on the Facebook, I notice someone or various different people have... Oh, I just realised my little film isn't running behind me today, is it? Just a minute. There we are. It's on pause. Sorry about that. I hope that didn't spoil your enjoyment today on the programme. Yeah, on Facebook, there's always people starting up new groups and this, that and the other. And now, someone or various people have started doing a dislike button. So if there's something you don't like about Facebook, you click this dislike button. And there's also, you also see, I mean, I don't know why you bother. I really don't know why you bother. And then they start up a group. If enough people join this group, Facebook will be forced to change the direction that this is going. And no, it doesn't. Okay? They're not interested. These people who have these websites, I swear, are absolutely not interested with the public or what they think about things. Once they decide to change something, that's it. It doesn't matter if 10 million people start signing a petition saying, oh, we want this changed back. They are not going to listen, okay? It's a bit like customer services in some shops. They're not interested in complaints. You have to vote with your feet. It's the only way. You unjoin it. That's the only way. So don't waste your time joining these groups that say that if enough people join, something will change, because it's never going to happen. I'm afraid that's the way it is. That's the general opinion I've got. And also you get these people who start up groups on Facebook that say, we want to break a Guinness World Record, okay? The most number of people in a group on Facebook, please join. It's not going to happen. All these wasted things and all these little groups and buttons and whatever, they're all set up by people who are sitting in offices, possibly some of them listening to this show secretly, some of our secret listeners. I know, you're sitting in the office and you're bored to tears, aren't you? You are absolutely bored to tears while you're listening. That's the only reason you're listening to this, to try desperately and alleviate the boredom of whatever job you're doing, shuffling bits of paper around on a desk. God, I don't know how you do that. I really, really do. And do we have any secret viewers? I've often talked about secret listeners. They are people that are listening to this perhaps on an MP3 or an MP3 player, or plugged into the back of your computer, okay? And you're listening at work and no one else knows that you're listening. But I know there are some secret listeners. Do we have any secret viewers? And how do you do that? Do you kind of have me playing away in the corner of your video screen? Eh? I would like to know if we have any secret viewers, people who watch this programme at work, when really they shouldn't be doing that. You should be shuffling bits of paper around, informing staff of their next activities, or maybe you are staff, maybe you're the underdog, maybe you're the one at the lowest of the low. Okay? And you shouldn't be watching this programme. Do we have any secret viewers? Please let me know. My email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. I've got a little bit of DIY to do after the show today, which I'm rather nervous about. I notice as I'm coming home late at night, in the cold weather, because we've had quite a few very cold nights, the pipe is dripping that's coming out of the top of the house where the water tank is. And it's dripping, drip, drip, drip. It's not a slow drip, it's a fairly fast drip, drip. And it's not like a stream. It's not like when you go into the toilet, you know, it's not a stream or drip, 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 drip. And then I notice if I flush the chain a couple of times, it stops. And it only seems to happen in the cold weather. Does the water expand in cold weather? There's a question for you. Now, Irving Distiller would know the answer to that, but I don't think he listens anymore. I think Irving has abandoned me for various other podcasts. It's very hurtful. It's very hurtful when one gives their time to just chat here away to you, and then you leave me. It happens all the time, you know. Eventually, everyone leaves me. The only thing that's ever stayed is the cat. Sad, really, isn't it? So, is that right? Does the water expand when it gets cold? Because that's the only time it seems to happen. If we have a warm night, it doesn't happen. Do let us know if you know the answer to that one. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. I'm not a plumber, am I? You know? I really am not a plumber. And I don't really want to go up into the loft and look at this thing. Email time then. Hello, Brenda. Oh, it's Brenda from Lancaster, who's becoming a regular correspondent. We like that. We used to have a lot of regular correspondents on here, actually, Brenda. There was Suko in New York. There was Irving Distiller. There was Motorised Millie. There was Ross Padselt. There was Wayne, and none of these people seem to write anymore. Have I offended someone? Eh? Is that what's happened? Are you waiting for some sort of party to be invited to? What's happened? Why don't you love me anymore? United Kingdom Talk, has the bubble burst? Is it time to pack up and move on to something else? And if so, what? Because it doesn't get any better than this? Do you ever sit there and think at home, it's not going to get any better? This is it. I've been thinking like that the last few days, honestly. Do you ever think like that? Is this it? What else is there? I'm going to Australia. Am I looking forward to that? Yeah, of course I'm looking forward to it. But I wouldn't say I'm overexcited. I don't seem to get very excited about anything anymore. You know that time perhaps when you're a young child and there was so much excitement, wasn't there? The excitement of looking forward to Christmas, the excitement of looking forward to a holiday, the excitement that your friend's going to come around later on and you're going to do something. I don't get excited anymore. I just kind of plod along. Are you like that? And what's the answer to that one? Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk is my email address. Now, I was going to say something to you, and I can't remember what. Oh, yes. Oh, silly. I should have said this at the beginning of the programme. Dedicating today's show to the memory of my mum, who died on November the 18th, 2000. And this is the closest show. Well, it would have been the 17th or the 19th. So it's the 19th, OK? So I'm dedicating today's show entirely to mum. Right, on to the emails. Brenda then, a new regular correspondent, Brenda. Hi Chris, this is Brenda from Lancaster. I just finished watching your show about your trip to the amusement park. You all looked like you had a great time. Yeah, well, we did. It was great. Oh, it's fantastic time. It's not just being at the amusement park. It's the fact that I got my two nephews with me. You know, that's what does it for me. I don't care. You know, I didn't go on any roller coasters or anything like that. They went on all those. Doesn't bother me in the slightest. The very fact that I'm just there spending time with them, that's what does it for me. Brenda says, I'm right there with you concerning roller coasters. I am terrified of things. Well, I tell you what, you would have been terrified of this particular one. I think it was called Stealth. Oh, it's so fast. I don't think that, as I said in the show that I was doing, you aren't on that ride for more than 15 seconds at the most. It goes, the guy presses a button and goes, whoosh, and it goes up vertically, and I mean vertically, and then comes down vertically. Awful. Come on, Brenda, why oh why would anyone want to get on that? These people are mad, dear, mad. I don't understand why people pay money to be tossed around like a rag doll. The rest of my family loves roller coasters. We'll tell them they can keep them because we don't want them, Brenda, do we? We don't want them. So I'm always stuck, oh, I know what you mean here, holding all their stuff while they are on the ride. Oh, yeah, I know. Oh, could you look after that? Oh, can you take this? Oh, can you take... And you end up with all these bags and coats, don't you? Mind you, it's a little bit like that while I'm DJing. You always get people come up to the DJ, oh, could you look after my bag? Or could you look after my mobile phone? As you know, we're not going to nick it. I might nick a bag or a mobile phone. There's some very nice handbags I've been looking after recently. And you get coats and all this sort of thing. Is it like a free coat check, really? I ought to charge £1 each. What do you think? Huh? Well, I mean, I'm providing a service, aren't I? Just a suggestion. Such is the life of a sensible member of the family. Yeah, me too. Henry and Melanie put their hands in the air. But I don't think my son Josh does. What, like this? They put their hands in the... Oh, I've just banged my mirror ball. Just a minute. Put their hands in the air while they're... Why do people do that on roller coasters? Would someone explain that to me? Because I don't get that at all. Why on earth would... Not only are you flying along at warp speed, going up and down, but they're not even holding on to anything. And, you know, I know they're all strapped in, but surely you would want to hold on to something, wouldn't you? These people are mad. I tell you, Brenda, mad. Josh is not a roller coaster enthusiast with the intensity of the other two, so that's Henry and Melanie. They're Brenda's children. Henry and Melanie will actually choose a park for their annual park trip based solely on the roller coaster selection that park has. Oh, dear me. They have been wanting to go to a park in Ohio that has an excessive amount of roller coasters, but haven't gotten there yet. I suppose they feel that I am very boring, as the carousel is my favourite ride. There's nothing wrong with the carousel, Brenda. Brenda, have you been to Disney? I tell you, the ride you will love is It's a Small World. La da 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 da. It's a small world, and this tune just goes on and on, and it's just such an inoffensive, slow little ride. I love it. You would love that one, Brenda. You're on this little boat, and it goes along at about 1/4 mile an hour. And there are all these little models waving at you as you go past. I love it! It's a small world. I haven't been to Disney for a while. I need a Disney top-up soon. I'm going to go, hopefully, to Florida. I haven't been to Florida for so long. And I'm going to go probably, hopefully, either late next year or the year after. Probably the year after. Yeah, I do like Florida. I was also talking about, in that particular show, about my nephew, and he's got a Vauxhall Astra. There's no legroom in the back of that car at all. It's the most uncomfortable car I've ever sat in. My nephew's car. She says, as far as cars with little legroom, I frequently find myself relegated to the back seats as I'm a very short person with very short legs. If I am wearing shoes, I'm just 5 feet tall. When my children were small, they would always fight to stand behind me on trips because they would have more legroom, or sit behind me on trips because they would have more legroom. My mum always used to sit in the back of the car. She used to let me sit in the front with my dad. Brenda says, funny that you would mention from a previous email about my co-workers being thieves. Just this past week, some nefarious wrench has stolen 2 lunches from the common refrigerator we keep our lunches in. Oh, that's a good one, food. Food is always being nicked. We have had incidents in the past where someone had taken items from lunchboxes, such as bags of chips or candy bars, but now they are taking the entire lunch. And one of the lunches taken was that of a pregnant woman who works across the hall from me. I'm sorry, I'm laughing. I have half a mind to make some brownies laced with X-Lax and put them in the refrigerator as punishment for those sticky, greedy fingers. Yeah, go and do it. It's not like you're poisoning them, is it? Go and I'd do it. Do it and watch them keep running to the toilet. That would teach them. It makes me very angry that people feel that it's okay to take other people's food, especially when we have several vending machines in our lunchroom. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox now. Have a great week from Brenda. So, thanks very much for that, Brenda. Always a pleasure to hear from you. She's a good writer, isn't she? If you're a writer as well and you want to write in, please feel free to do so. My email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Time to go. I'll see you on the next show. Thanks for watching and listening. Bye-bye now.